So, my last streams trip was really good. It was a real fun time. And it basically, what was continuously shown to me was Pinkie Pie. And it made me think about one of my other favorite things, Andrew WK. And, like, the spirit of partying. How, like, I feel like I've been focusing too much on, like, negativity. You know, like, I've been, like, trying to diagnose problems. And, like, try to see where all the problems lie. Like, being very bogged down in the horrors of life. And while that is important to know, you know, it's important to know, like, how people are hurting, why people are hurting, how these cycles are perpetuated, what kind of attitudes these do, how you might be doing something hateful or bigoted or a result of living in a very bigoted society, and reflecting on that and changing that. But, you know, I feel like at this point, I'm good at diagnosing the problem, and I've gone kind of too out of balance, because I'm just sitting there being like, well, the world's broken in this way, or it's all fucked up in this way. And so one of the best way, you know, to sort of like make yourself and others feel happy is if you are having a based and positive and partying attitude. Partying as a philosophy, a sort of spiritual thing. Because, like, to party is to sort of find enjoyment and to sort of be creative in your aspects of life, kind of going by, like, a vibe of, like, oh, I want this situation to be, like, new, or, you know, if I'm doing something new and scary, it'd be like, this is a new, scary thing, and you know what, I'm just gonna party, you know, I'm just gonna party it down, and it's gonna be a positive experience, and then people around you end up feeling very positive, you know, and it's all about, like, embracing yourself, and sometimes yourself is really, really weird, you know, sometimes, you know, you're not one person, but instead 11 plus people in a singular sort of stream of consciousness. You know, sometimes those are separate streams of consciousness that are dissociated from each other, you know. Sometimes, you know, like, you were born one race, want to be the other, one gender, want to be the other, you know, and you don't know what to do with those feelings, because you don't have any access to any resources in this reality to give you what you want, you know. And sometimes it's like you have that hatred in your heart, and you're nasty to other people, but, like, you know, I'm trying to you know, be fully everything I want to be, and do all the things I want to do in life by staying positive and looking for partying in every aspect. I feel like it's really easy to have hatred in your heart when you're raised in a society. Like, if you're raised in a racist society, you know, you're going to internalize racism no matter what race you actually are, you know. Like, if there is a kind of person that is like, hey, you need to be this kind of person, if you're not that kind of person, regardless if that person really exists or not, you're going to feel like you're a failure. Now, the kind of thing that was idealized near me as a child was or like so as a teen and as a young adult, is the idea of like perfect data person. Like I'm a human content machine that is constantly producing output. I've seen all the media, I can analyze it fully. I have become essentially a Wikipedia article. That's like what I was really interested in, and I had things that laid outside of that, that I liked doing or that I was. I couldn't be, like that. Another thing is like my dysphoria in all these certain ways, and my identity that at a point I did not feel comfortable with identifying as a singular person. And like I felt like I had to be, like I had to be a perfectly consistent person. I felt like I had to, I make music, and the way I prefer making music makes it sound really weird and like mixed weird, and like I don't really care about like how good the recording quality is or like the mixing and mastering is. I can't like mixing and mastering to me is just like kind of ways to have interesting sonic ideas, and so like I stopped making music in a way where everything was like really well produced and started just making what I wanted to make, and same with my comic. Like I was doing what I felt like was objectively good, but I was not expressing a number of things I wanted to express. And so I started expressing everything I wanted to express. And now I'm a lot happier. Now I can party. Because, to me, partying, you gotta figure out what partying is to you. Because to me, partying is being as creative as possible in all my art and all my life. Just like finding like creativity anywhere I can. That's what I am very concerned with. And sort of just like letting go and being able to find that, what I'm all about right now, And so like, and this also comes down to like your beliefs in reality. Like we're often told to just like accept what reality is, that the sky is blue. But maybe you feel like the sky is red, or you like really believe the sky is red, that you see a red sky. Usually when that happens, they want to like lock you up in a mental hospital, but like why does that have to be wrong? Really the only thing that's fucked up is violating people's consent. No, you can't party if your consent is violated, but you also have to make your desires known. You gotta clearly communicate that consent. I just want to spread this bit of positivity to you guys. Talk about, because I need to remember the party. Pinkie Pie. The Pinkie Pie spirit talked to me when I was tripping, and it was fucking epic. And she showed me, she illuminated to me that I need to just stop worrying. So maybe you need to figure out, sometimes it's really hard. Sometimes you're not in a position to only focus on the positive. It's probably the case with a lot of you. A lot of you might be in a lot of pain. A lot of you might be in a shitty situation, or you might not have like time or energy to dedicate to being positive, but every little bit counts. You know, like do something for you. You know, like say I love you to someone else. You know, just like these affirmations of love. Like, you know, if you are really about that positive shit like I am, you know, just like do little stuff. You know, you may not feel like you're saying, I feel like everything's easy breezy, but it is just like a little improvement. So anybody watching this video, I give you all the dream God blessing. I give you all the dream God blessing to become and do whatever you want, whatever you love, to meet other people that you can connect with. You know, if you already have that, and like see those people more and be around those people more, and I give y'all the dream God blessing. The entire dream God system gives you the energy to do so. You know, thank you, dream God. You know, dream God's very powerful. You know, it's like, you know, life is a dream, bro. You can do anything. You know, you just gotta learn how to do that lucid dreaming. You know, once you can figure out that lucid dreaming, it's yours. You know, like it's yours. You know, no matter how weird you think you are, you just gotta love and respect other people. You know, understand them. Don't violate their consent. You know, and no matter how weird you think a feeling is, just express it. You know, don't be afraid. Because at the very least, I won't judge you. You know, Dream God will never judge you for however you feel. You know, so yeah, hope y'all can find that party spirit. You know, shout out to Andrew WK. You know, shout out to Andrew WK. Shout out to Pinkie Pie. Shout out to Lil B. Shout out to you. You know, shout out to you. Swag.